What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live. Wow. Right as I'm starting the stream, Thick Bantha Boy delivers us news. Apparently,
That wasn't
Kate
planned
Bishop,
at all.
Holy crap. I still need both of those. Why are you doing this to me, Bantha? Are you telling me I have to pre-order 2 figures live on stream? No, I'm not going to do it live on stream, but that kind of switches
I
things
would
up a
pay a
little
$2
bit.
super chat for that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna pull this up now.
You didn't hear that, did you? I'm just like, I'll pay a $2 super chat for you to go do that right now.
No.
Well,
hey, we're on the
bottom.
Lane. Cut it out. We're on the bottom of the totem pole here. We don't have super chats yet. We're well off from that.
Oh, damn it! That's right. I forgot.
But guys, how's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, Bantha Boy's coming in here and dropping some knowledge on us here. Let me refresh my last chance page, which I already had pulled up. Bro, you are shitting me. And the CW Flash as well is on here. Guys, like, are you kidding me? Hold up one freaking second, man. All right, we're pulling this up right now.
Yeah, we're gonna do a slight diversion to this.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is absolutely a diversion, but it has to be, unfortunately.
You're still
what the hell, man? Can you guys hear me, by the way? Lane said I'm a little choppy for him. You guys know I've been having issues with my computer. I hope you guys can hear me, but
Kate Bishop and KX.
Wow, guys.
Well, I don't know about KX, but Kate Bishop, these have been up for a little while too now. They've been like 3 or 4 months now that they've been up
for a lot. But here's the thing, Lane. This is like uncharted territory for us. I mean, we saw this happen with Peacemaker and
he was up for about this. Well, he might have been up for a little bit longer than that, but
right. And the bike and the Batman Bat Cycle. So it's he
was up for about that long too, 3 or 4 months.
Wow. This is like a shocking start to the stream. I did not expect this. I pulled up the last chance page before we started just to take a look at it. I saw that Nebula popped back up, and I was like, oh, nothing too exciting. And then Bantha Boy comes in here and drops the hammer on us. Okay. Maz says I'm sounding fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, now you sound better than before.
Oh, okay. So, Lane, you're throwing me off, dude. I don't know if I'm bad, if I'm good. This computer, man, it's driving me crazy.
A sledgehammer takes care of that, right?
It does. Yeah, apparently it does. But then, hey, I won't be able to stream anymore. I don't think everybody will be happy with that.
No, that's right.
Yeah, so someone is asking, the collector is asking, how much is the KX Enforcer droid? He is $285, and that's, of course, before shipping and taxes.
Which makes it about $200 less than usually K2SO.
Right. So if you're getting K2SO, I mean, you're saving quite a bit of money. Now, is this K2SO? No, it is not. It is not, just like the Shore Trooper Squad Leader is not the Shore Trooper Captain. But still, if you don't have K2SO, this is one that you can grab and save yourself a bit of money. And if you have the balls to do so, you could strip the battle damage off of it, possibly, depending on how it's adhered to the figure. You just have to be adventurous and try. But I think he looks great.
Has his own special base, the Mandalorian helmet. I mean,
yeah, he looks real good, man.
Yeah, this, even though it is a remake of a previous figure, repaint.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think in some ways with the battle damage and stuff, it fits for this kind of droid where you get to see it kind of like that. This is an in-action version of the droid.
Can you believe that, though? Like, when you guys were sitting here, and this is a question for not only Lane, but everybody in the chat, was this one on your radar? Because like a Star Wars and Marvel figure, was that on your radar?
Well, it's one of the few Book of Boba figures we've actually gotten. When you think about it, the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, let's see. So we've had, leaving out the quarter scales that are waitlisted now, leaving those out because that's kind of a different thing. We've had the Fennec, which, let's be honest, the Fennec was probably Mando season 2, but they just decided they wanted to have a label Book of Boba Fett. So she was the first for that one.
Hey, Sean, how's it going, man? Sorry, Lane, I had to let Sean in.
Hello.
Sean, are you seeing what we're seeing? No, I was telling Lane I was sorry for cutting him off. But Sean, look who just hit the last chance page, Sean, as you're coming in here. Can you believe it? Kate Bishop and the KX Enforcer droid. What the hell, man? Yeah,
that's kind of surprising.
It very, very surprising. Yeah. Speechless is what I expected. It's like,
I think these are probably, the funny thing is because now Gilgamesh has been on this for a little while now, and he's still even
and
with
who cares about Gilgamesh?
Even with the $20 coupon, I mean, he's going to do it eventually, but
right,
that's going to be maybe a Hot Toys fart in the wind.
I got a 15% off code for Marvel at Sideshow, and he was the only pre-order item on that code for 15% off.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because the $25 codes that they do, sometimes for entering one of the contests. I thought it was funny. I remember before they came out, Cable was on there. He was like him and I forget what other figure from Hot Toys was a pre-order. So still quote pre-order ones, but they were kind of late in the game. But I was like, what the hell are these doing on the 20? What the hell are these doing on here? But I haven't seen a Hot Toy on there forever.
Right. It doesn't make any sense, man. And it's like, we've talked about this before, and now that it's starting to happen again, it's like who is safe and who isn't, and it's like, I think what we're seeing is the figures that have these low numbers, Sideshow's not willing to sit and wait for them to kind of get a boost anymore,
especially when they are lower pre-order, like both.
Right. And that's what we've been seeing. Gilgamesh, Kate Bishop now, KX Enforcer Droid, Peacemaker,
ones from this year. We're not talking about ones that are still from last year.
Exactly. Stuff that they don't want to see make it to that year before they start hitting in stock status. They don't want to see them sitting and then just saying, oh, maybe the numbers will do better later.
And they want to be at, what would you guys say? Just they want to have waitlist numbers that they have to try and fit, people who convert, kind of stuff like that. They,
this could be too. Oh, sorry, Lane. I thought you were done talking.
No. Go ahead.
Is that Hot Toys might be looking at their market too. It might be like, you know what? We're not getting a lot of orders for this here. And so they might be reaching out to Sideshow, be like, hey, we know you requested 4,000 of this, but we're not getting a lot and we don't want to devote our time. So how many orders do you have? And they're like, well, right now we only have 800. And they're like, okay, so we will only make 1,000 for you and we'll fulfill our orders. And then we're going to cut it off.
It's got to be, man. They've got to be making some moves like that because this is very abnormal from what we've seen years prior. It's like the past 3 months have been somewhat of a mystery. I mean, we started to be able to predict what Hot Toys and Sideshow were doing, and now they're becoming very unpredictable, Let me touch on a few comments before we continue because they're piling up here. We like to get everybody involved. Mr. JB, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I think I saw you said you got blocked from Sideshow. What is going on with that, man? Everybody's getting blocked from Sideshow. I've seen that you're now the third or fourth person I've seen their account get banned. Some people, it was like their first purchase. They had one figure on pre-order and they got banned. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe some false positives. Possibly. Clone Collector in the house. I saw a Clone Collector saying he's ready to pull the trigger. Dude, I'm going to as well. Because these are two figures that were on my list. I hate being pushed into pre-ordering in a situation like this, but I'm also not going to take the chance because, I mean, the stuff that's shown up on here, it hasn't lasted very long, Obviously, some stuff lasts longer than others, but like the bat cycle, that didn't last nearly as long as a lot of us thought. I mean, I'm glad I got my pre-order in it when I did. But yeah, this is very shocking.
You can still find the bat cycle on other.
You can. And like
so
we're pop culture, for example, still has all this stuff. So
so we're not saying that. We're just speaking about specifically who's the main distributor here. We're not talking about you're probably you still got other options probably for a while if you are really interested in something, but you're not sure yet.
Right. There's just
you might have to wait a little. You might have to wait a little bit longer. Hey JC, How are you doing? Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Ash Chase, what's up, Ash? I hope you're doing well. Hope everything's good. OG, my friend, always good to see you. How you doing? Let's see. Who else did I miss? I think I already said what's up to Insane One. If I didn't, what's up, my friend? I had a feeling you were going to be here tonight. Let's see. What else we got? Peyton in the house. Yeah, I don't know, man. And like I said, Peyton, it seems like what it is, it's affecting these figures that are essentially sitting. And that's why when we were talking about this, when we had the Peacemaker and the Bat Cycle situation, I was kind of saying like, oh, King Shark seems like he's going to be next. in terms of figures that haven't been on pre-order that long, but they're on the chopping block. And it kind of seems like it's going to start going that way. Those figures that aren't getting touched much, Sideshow's like, all right, well, I think everybody who wanted it got it, and we're done keeping this guy on pre-order.
So we're not worried about Obi-Wan. Now, 6 months from now, you may have to start paying attention to Obi-Wan and Vader, but we're not going to be talking about those guys for a while. But, you know, Kate Bishop's been available since the spring, I think. You might have to as a collector pay attention, especially if you normally order from Sideshow, or if you're outside the United States where you have to get it from Sideshow or something like that, and you don't order from your local LCS or local shop or whatever. You might have to start paying attention a little bit more closely to figures you think you might be, not necessarily ones that you're like, I'm buying this, I know I'm getting it kind of thing, but you're like, I might like a Kate Bishop, you might be like, I want that to help fill out maybe my Phase 4 Marvel collection or something like that. She's not your favorite character or wasn't your favorite show. You like her pretty good. Maybe you like the actress or something like that. So you're considering I might get that to have the figure. You might have to monitor, especially like where there are pre-order wise, who's kind of a lesser known secondary character, because it could be, I don't think this is going to be 2 months after they get announced. You have to worry about it. But if they're towards the bottom of, you might need to pay attention to that a little bit. And if they're, you know, some Hot Toys or Sideshow might say have strict, like, we're reviewing this each month or maybe every 3 months or every quarter,
I think
or something like that. And they might be reviewing that to see where they are, and they might cut it off, you know, for a certain amount of time. If pre-orders don't reach a certain level or something, then that might be from either Sideshow or Hot Toys side. Yeah. High Toys might be cutting it off just because we've talked about just the backup for them. It could just be production things, like where they're just doing, like, because there's so much content they have to make at least one figure for it. She-Hulk, they're more than likely going to have to at least make a She-Hulk figure, which
I think it's safe to say we'll get She-Hulk.
Yeah,
for sure.
But you know what I mean, though, like from these shows that, you know, where they have to make at least one figure, they might have to make two. That's another thing where it may be not the top thing they necessarily want, but the licensor might say, if you want to keep the license, we got to have a figure from this thing as part of the merchandising for it, you know? So do you think that could be playing in it too? It's just because of they have finally understood after a couple of years now, fully having Disney Plus with the MCU and having Star Wars now with all the shows and stuff like that, which have only been the last few years where they made for the movies, but that increased content amount is now really in the last year or so really started to stack up. So they might be saying, hey, for a lot of these characters where we've talked about making less, having more figures, but less of each one made, maybe that's at this point. Now we're seeing in the last, 5 or 6 months where Hot Toys has finally got donged on the head by this and is having to make business change decisions. And now this is one of the side effects we're going to start seeing. I mean, I think we have to watch this for like a year. And if that's commonplace where we're seeing that, then we can say this is the new model. I don't think after 3 months or even 6 months, you can say that. That's like, you know, when Throne Boba popped up and everybody was like, oh my God, is US now getting stuff first now more? Is this going to be the new model? I'd like, hold your horses, man. You got to give stuff maybe like 6 months, a year of seeing stuff before you can say it's a trend.
Yeah, I mean, and with this, we're, like you said, we're just going to have to watch it closely and see what happens, because we don't know. At this point, again, it's a mystery. But if we're taking an educated guess here, again, I would say that they're probably taking a look at these lower number pre-order figures that are kind of stragglers, and they're like, okay, well, Kate Bishop, your pre-order numbers haven't really fluctuated much in the past 3 months. They're probably like, all right, well, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to start moving stuff, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. And overall, I think in the long run, it benefits them as a business, because then if they continue to do this, that's going to start putting a sense of urgency in people where they're like, okay, if I want something, I'm going to have to pre-order. Because at the end of the day, it absolutely benefits Sideshow and Hot Toys, of course, when people put in pre-orders, because they take that money to fund many different things. If they decide
not to do it, then they keep it, or Sideshow does, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the giveaway, or not the giveaway laws, I think with the laws, with the order cancellations and such changing, they're not going to keep your money just because they have that little disclaimer and such. But either way, it definitely benefits companies like this to take in pre-orders and get that money flowing for the company. So I'm not surprised that they're doing this. And as we saw, guys, I mean, we saw even Princess Leia, A New Hope, the Hot Toys version, and
just popped up out of the blue.
The 89 Batman. So that tells you they're going deep through these warehouses and they're consolidating things. They're going through their stock and they're like, okay, we need to get a solid number of what we have and just get rid of everything that we don't need anymore. That's why every day we're seeing discounts go up on Sideshow. If you guys are signed up for the text alerts, there's one right now, 30% off the Bill and Ted Blitzway set. And they've been doing that basically every day. They've been putting deals out for not only Hot Toys, but other things. Sean, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say. So one thing that's kind of concerning that we all got to look at, we saw all those previews at the con of everything, to include like Hawkeye, all this Batman sets.
T'Challa, Star-Lord.
Yeah. And this is the longest time after a con that something was shown that none of the stuff has ever been made announced. No announcement for pre-order, nothing. Yeah. This is the longest con since I've been collecting, since 2015, that there has not been an announcement for something shown at Comic-Con.
Yeah,
it's kind of unprecedented.
Yeah, and everybody's been like, including myself, has been like foaming at the mouth for that 89 Batman, especially. And it's like, if we don't see, and you guys know, typically Sideshow New York Con is where they show off a lot of new prototypes that we haven't seen yet, and typically that event's pretty exciting because they show off new stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if we don't see the 89 Batman and the Bale Armory set and all of those figures that were revealed, the T'Challa, Star-Lord, if we don't see that stuff at Sideshow New York Con, I'm a little worried because we didn't see the 89 Batman for Batman Day. We all got really excited with that little Batman Day celebration that they talked about. And we didn't see anything from that apart from the Tactical Batman reissue, which I'm sure some people are excited for. And I think it's a cool figure. But for Batman Day, you're not going to give us 89 Batman? Now, I know a lot of people...
Or the Bale Armory or something.
Or the Bale Armory, yeah, absolutely.
For it to be a more expensive piece like that that's going to take up space, Batman Day is the perfect thing to get. Because if you want to talk about something I could see ending up like this, it'd be something like that just because that thing's super expensive. So Batman Day is where you can can maximize your pre-orders, because it's gonna end up like a blurry at some point, just because of the price point, probably be like $500.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Before anyone starts to comment about saying, "Oh, well, we got Cobb Vanth," it's not the same thing, because that was first shown on May the 4th, 2021. So that one doesn't count.
And the thing about Cobb Vanth too, the thing is they've been working on that forever, and we're going to talk about Cobb Vanth in detail in a little bit. Like I said, guys, this just kind of threw me off, but in a good way. This is good stuff. I like talking about this. By the way, guys, I did just pre-order these guys on my phone because I can't miss out on anything. I did.
The FOMO is real.
It's bro. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now, Clone Collector, Insane One, you guys, it is your fault that I just pre-ordered these. Now I'm just joking.
Well,
but no, seriously though, it's like these are figures that I want, and I'm not willing to take the chance. Just like I wasn't willing to take the chance with Peacemaker or the Bat Cycle. You know,
we talk about at least with some figures like this. If at some point you have to change your mind, or you kind of have a little bit of buyer's regret, even if it may cost you your deposit on it,
right?
Are you really like? I mean, let's say you're talking June of next year. When it's coming out, and it doesn't look like it's the end of the year. Maybe you're having to dump a couple figures to make sure you can afford ones that are more important in the hierarchy, or you're trying to you've changed your mind how your collection wants to go. If, like, say you had to cancel Kate Bishop, I know it's $27 you're saying goodbye to, but in June of 2023, are you actually going to effing care about $27 then? Like a year later?
Hey, you know what? By that time,
Chitauri
we might be in our next world war. We might be fighting zombies. we might have. I don't know. We'll say.
Hey, Brett.
We'll call the next thing. We'll call it Typhoon Hovid. Taking over the planet. It could be anything to where $27 seemed like a lot of money, or it could be like, I don't need no hot toys. I need 45 caliber ammo.
Sean sounds like he belongs in like Red Dead Redemption with that accent.
I've actually never played that. Is that good?
What, dude, bro? People in the chat, help me out here. You got to encourage Sean to play Red Dead. What an excellent game! But the first and the second one, I loved both of them. Well, of course, the first one is the best, but
to make sure we get Connor off of the thing, Sean, you know what time it is, right?
2025, mother.
Oh yeah, 2025.
It's not. No.
The year that Mace Windu.
Look, I told Lane this when we were filming the giveaway video. I said, how funny would it be if we get to New York Con and Mace Windu's just sitting on the table? I would laugh.
You know what? I would not be surprised if Sideshow tries to pull a Mace Windu character.
And you know what?
That'd be so funny,
they'll show it, and then you'll see it at Sideshow Con 2023, Sideshow Con 2024, and then they'll go.
Well, by saying that, you're dooming everything else.
Yeah, well, it wasn't actually Attack of the Clones. See, the box says Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary, so it was always Revenge of the Sith Mace. That's what they're gonna do.
Right. Hold on, before we move on, let me touch on some comments.
But we're going to keep talking about 2025.
We're not. We're absolutely not. We're moving on.
It's going to be the Mace year of
KG Collector, how's it going, bro? I hope you're doing well. Absolutely awesome to see you in here. JC says, Lane.
Hey, JC.
See, Clone Collector, it's his fault, man. Everybody blame Clone Collector. If you place an order for these figures tonight, don't blame me. Don't blame Lane. Don't blame Sean. Blame Clone Collector. It's his fault. I appreciate that, Demon. And also Insane earlier, I forgot to highlight your comment. Thank you, everybody. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It definitely helps us out. And also subscribe. We do have that giveaway video up now. I just uploaded it a couple hours ago. So get yourself subscribed so you can enter that giveaway and check out that video later when we're off stream. Jazzy, what's up, man? I hope you're doing well. Is that your car in the photo? That's a really cool car, man. I really like that. Yes, KX is absolutely a beauty. Violet just did me a really cool Darth Vader. She did the Stormtrooper picture for me, and now she's doing a Darth Vader. She actually just finished it, so I'm really excited to have the pair, get them framed, and then I'm going to show them off to you guys on the channel. Definitely really appreciate that, Violet, as always. And Violet hit me up as soon as she got that Darth Vader picture. She knew I wanted it, so I appreciate that. Oilers, my friend, how you doing? Oilers said his wallet is on low stock. Yeah, mine is too, dude. Mine is too. We're getting to the end of the month. It's time to pay off our credit cards, and it's like, cool. I think I'm done for the month. And then here we go. Thick Banta Boy comes in here and drops the bomb on us. But that's okay. I'm glad he did.
You know he's laughing evil like Mr. Burns, like
right. Yeah.
Why are you going into debt with credit cards?
Oh, we're not going into debt. I'm part of the pay it off at the end of the month crew. That's what I do. Okay. Pay in full. I'm building my credit.
Just making sure. Let me say hello to Brenton real quickly. He just chimed in earlier, Brenton. I don't know if you had heard me, but I did see your comment there.
Oh, did I? Is it? Let me see.
Brenton.
I think I'm blind. I can't find it. Do you want to share with us what he's? Oh, I see. Hey, Lane Kramer. How's it going, Brenton? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. I just had a comment highlighted, and I think I've lost it. I think it was Eric. I think Eric said he pre-ordered these figures. Good choice, man. And like Lane was saying, and here's the thing, guys. If you're kind and courteous with Sideshow customer service, I've seen it more often than not that they will move your non-refundable deposit to another figure. So if realistically you pre-order these now and you decide later, you're like, you know what, I don't want these anymore, there's a chance they could move it to another figure. Of course, there's no promises, and I don't work for Sideshow, so I don't know what they're doing. Things change all the time. But as of right now, I know that people do that all the time. But of course, you have to be kind and courteous and explain your situation. But
yeah, this is for you two guys. What of these two are Sean? Are you, because honestly, both of these are just performa non grata for me. I'm not going to get either one of them. Sean, were you considering, or did you already have either one of these pre-ordered? Or
so I have the KX pre-ordered for my local comic shop. I may order another one just in case that order doesn't get fulfilled. I've been waiting on Kate Bishop because I wanted to make sure Hawkeye
came out. That's not looking good anymore.
Yeah, and I'm kind of a little bit concerned. However, I could go with the deluxe Ronin from Endgame and put them together and call it good.
Oh, I think that would work perfect. That would work really good.
But I would rather... I'd rather it be Hawkeye from the show because I like that show.
Yeah, I did too. I actually really did. It was surprising to me how much I liked it. I mean, we got to see Kingpin towards the end too. So like there's a lot of stuff to like. And we got to see Ronin in action again. So it's like, I feel like that show got a lot more hate than it, for me personally, my personal opinion. I feel like it got more hate than it deserved. Kumar, how's it going, bro? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you as always.
Well, one of the things we try and play up about, I think, was Phase 4, of MCU, whether you completely liked everything or not, is Phase 4, I think, has tried to do different genres. Now, I think you can maybe make the point that maybe MCU has tried to cater too many things and too many different types of genres and styles of storytelling that some have not worked, and maybe they've had too many shows. I think they've had too many shows. I think they've had too many of them because you don't have even the same feel of when you had WandaVision. You had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Whether you completely liked them all or thought they were unbalanced or whatever with the storytelling, the WandaVision felt kind of special because it was first. The Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were two classic characters we got to really see, and they did do some interesting storytelling with some of these characters, and we got to see Sam Wilson become.
I think so.
America.
But
that we've kind of, I think, but then even to the movie Shang-Chi, which is basically MCU finally does, a Hong Kong kung fu action style movie, but MCU style with Wenwu and stuff,
right?
And then you've got She-Hulk, which is just kind of. Okay,
Stop it, Sideshow, with your pop-up. Stop it.
Yeah, She-Hulk is a weird show. You had Ms. Marvel, which was Kamala Khan was, I think, aiming for more of a kids-esque kind of MCU show. Whether you loved it or not, I think that's what they were aiming for. Hawkeye was trying to be more of a ground-level show because we hadn't had one at that time. But I think they're trying to do too many different genres at the same time right now, which is muddied the waters for MCU, where they had some different feel to the storytelling and obviously the original leading up to the Avengers. Yeah, that is definitely it. That would you agree maybe like where, you're not going to confuse Captain America's storytelling with the flavor they're going for with Thor.
No.
They're different things, but there was it wasn't different genre that seemed to kind of be smashing into each other a little bit, which I think, say, if you're in a comic book universe, comics themselves, medium, I think you can kind of do that a little bit. But I'm not sure if where the MCU had a comic book hero arc-ish storytelling method to their characters in the movies, but with different, like maybe magic or other stuff taking the place of, more heroic or science-based stuff. 4 has been muddied because there's so many different genres and people don't know, they're not as tied together, it feels like, because of the different storytelling types.
And new characters are being established, so it's like it doesn't feel the same, and it's never going to. And I've said this before, right? I've said this before. It's kind of like the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy of Star Wars. Like that's those 6 films, and we're not going to get into this, of course, but just the comparison is those 6 films. That is Star Wars, everybody, and then everything preceding that, people are going to be like,
comparing the prequels versus the original trilogy.
Right. For some people, it's just the original trilogy. Like that's my Star Wars, and that's all I care about.
And how they compare it, because they're so different. And I'm like, well, even though it was creator George Lucas, he was a much younger guy back when, he did the original Star Wars trilogy, and he did the other one 20 years later. He was an older guy. The things he was more interested in was the technology of special effects and that kind of thing than necessarily. And because he had complete control and stuff of everything, he didn't have maybe some of the, it's like Vince Russo with wrestling. Vince Russo unfiltered was awful trash. with Vince McMahon filtering some of the ideas, it turned into stuff that people wanted to watch.
Yeah, on wrestling, you lost me. I don't know nothing about wrestling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, if Chris was in here, he'd be able to tell you
but I mean,
about it. But
that's what I think phase 4. Now, I know we want to. I mean, there's been plenty of stuff. I'm still trying to get through Thor: Love and Thunder. I tried 3 times and I still haven't made it through the whole movie. But I think, I don't think where maybe the She-Hulk series ends up being something you don't like, and it does, in your eyes, hurts the character for what you're looking for. That character is going to show up again, and it might be in a more, with kind of the fourth wall here and there, like Deadpool.
Yeah, we'll see.
But she would be in a more actiony movie, possibly leading into Avengers as one of the heavy hitter kind of.
I'll say this, and then we'll move on. I think with She-Hulk, it's more so like just a fun show as opposed to a character development show. It seems like, and that's not necessarily a good thing in my opinion. It's just all like, oh, this is Jen being a lawyer and running into another problem as being She-Hulk, and it's like,
I think it's more just bad writing.
Right, and it's not every week you're not like, oh man, next week they're gonna do this. Next week they're gonna try to do this. It's like, oh, here's another one of her struggling to be a lawyer and She-Hulk at the same time, and it's like, have I had fun watching some of the episodes? Yeah, but is it a monumental show? No, I would probably put it at the bottom, to be honest with you. But yeah, guys, I want to touch on a couple more comments before we move on because there's a few more comments pertaining to this. The Collector had a question. He said, have I ordered the Return of the Jedi Scout with bike yet? Not yet. I'm still waiting on a larger deal on that one, just because if we look at the Mando Scout bike and that thing is getting liquidated like crazy. So I'm hoping that the same thing happens with that, because I still think that one is far enough back to where it's still going to be pretty heavily stocked for a while. So that's what I'm waiting for that one. Insane One says, my bad. Don't worry. I just pre-ordered also. Okay, we're pre-order buddies then. I'll take that. I think the Collector, are you talking about Red Dead? I hope so, dude, because, yeah, that is one of my favorite stories ever. Dude, if we ever got, an official John Marston figure, that'd be incredible. I'd be over the moon about that. D, as in Demetrius, says he ordered the Captain America Falcon last June. It was supposed to get here by this month. Now it's showing December to January next year. Ridiculous. Yeah, I'm not very surprised by that one, just because it's a bit more complicated than a typical, let's compare it to the Vision figure. That's obviously way more complicated. Am I excited about these delays? No, not at all, but I'm not super surprised by it.
There's been a ton of delays lately, and I mean, I was calling it back when Warner Brothers got the new CEO and Discovery got the new CEO. And
you did, yeah.
He just literally said about DC, he's like, yeah, we're stopping everything right now.
Yeah.
They did. They stopped everything. So everything for Hot Toys DC has been pushed back. Hot Toys has never canceled an item, so I'm hoping that's going to be good for us.
Go ahead. This kind of goes along with what you're saying, but if you feel free, Sean, to address Euler's comment, because it is directed at you.
Hot Toys Nightmare. That's exactly why I are ordering crap right now, because World War III may prevent. Sorry, the screen's really small for me.
Wow, Sean can't read.
I know. You know what's funny though is he might be right. Yeah. And there's people right now that are really concerned with what's going on in this world.
Yeah.
And, I hate to tell you, but, that Maverick Mossberg may not be enough that you have that's 800 years old right now. You think, I'm really good at shooting. I got black powder. Yeah, you got black powder for one shot. You got 30 zombies coming after you. Unless they're all straight in a line, wow. I don't think you're going to make it.
This got deep, man. We went from talking about Hot Toys delaying stuff. Sean's like, dude, you better have a good gun because there's zombies coming soon.
Hey, you know what? Hot Toys, though, represents one thing. You need a good gun.
I guess so. Clone Collector says, behave. LOL, I got FOMO. Dude, me too, man. I just pre-ordered on my phone. Like I said, I mean, the thing is and someone mentioned this in the chat, that Sideshow could be scaring us into things, and they still do that with some figures. Like, let's be real,
but not
they still
so many
do
of
that.
these guys,
right? But
there are too many.
Right. Again, Peacemaker and the Bat Cycle have been gone for about a month now. So I think those are gone at least until it gets close to shipping and it starts shipping. And maybe they're like, all right, here's our cancellations that we've had recently. Let's put these up for sale. And I do see that happening with all of these, to be honest.
Well, just to put it in context too, I'm looking right now at bestsellers. KX is below the regular Blurg. Right.
Yeah.
Now.
So that's because who's buying just the Blurg? Not many people. Some of you in the chat may, but generally speaking, most people want the Queel and the Blurg. And then if they didn't have the OG Mando already, they got the OG Mando and the Blurg. So that's very surprising. Yeah. So Polo says KX is low stock. Shit's different. Yeah, it is, man. Things are changing. Absolutely.
And Kate Bishop is now almost in the exact same spot. It is just ahead of the Hydra Stomper by itself.
Yeah. A lot of those figures, man, a lot of these rare figures that a lot of people aren't looking at right now, that we might start seeing them pop up on this list slowly but surely, because obviously it's been kind of slow since that first initial wave. It took a while for these to pop up, but
so I mean, I'm probably because they were announced much sooner. I mean, would we have already seen Wenwu or maybe Shang-Chi or the Vision, the White Vision figure? Some of those ones have already popped up if they were announced later than they were,
Yeah, true. Yeah. How you doing, by the way, Dylan? A lot of people are going to be really hyped for that show. And I know the trailer just went up recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if at least someone doesn't pick it up. I know like 3-0 has done a lot of obscure figures, so maybe 3-0 will pick it up. I would like to see someone take a stab at it, But yeah, guys, this is what we're dealing with right now. So definitely keep an eye on this last chance page, and maybe I'll bring it up again towards the end of the stream just to keep an eye on it, just to see what happens. But time to move on to the main topics of discussion here.
2025 Mace Windu order.
No,
2025.
We're Mace Windu fans here, Sean. Stop it.
In fact, that's why I'm positive that we have a chance in 2025 for Mace, the mother Windu.
New York Sideshow, New York Con. Come on, baby. Ekwan says Star Ace for the Last of Us figures. Yeah, no way. We don't want that.
No. So I will say though, for as much fun as I made fun of Star Ace, I still do think the worst figure this year is Asbug Williams from Asmus.
Ash, no way. Lane, you're out of your mind. That figure was trash. And I haven't gotten it in hand yet, but it's like it had a lot of issues, but it was mainly like stuff that they fixed though. I mean, yeah, like the Deadite neck has a little bit of a gap in it, and but the Henrietta didn't have hair, they fixed that. Like there was many issues that they fixed. I don't have my copy in hand yet, so I'll be able to tell you what I really think when I get it. But from what I've seen, it's not as bad as people say. But guys, the first release, and of course, this was like what, 6 days ago. This one dropped on the 23rd. How many people were kind of scratching their heads at this one when this dropped? I know I did. I woke up and I was kind of like, what? Oh, I'm going back to sleep, And it's like, this is one, if it was in its normal form, non-neon tech, if we just had the Mark IV with gantry,
everybody would have exploded.
We would have lost our shit. We would have been out of our minds. We would have been so excited. But
when is this coming available?
I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, when I first saw it too, I'm like, is this some like Photoshop? Because people are like that sometimes. They Photoshop stuff and make jokes. And it's like, I don't know, man. Now, this is like a store exclusive. I don't know why it took me all the way back here. This is a Shanghai store exclusive, guys. So I'm not surprised by it. It is Iron Man. And as you guys know, in Asia, Iron Man is the money printer. But I don't know, man. Now, is it kind of cool in some ways to me? Yeah, because it's like the Tron paint job. But it's like, out of all the things we could have asked for, this is like low.
Let's just give us the Mark IV like this. Even if there's like a reissue of it where it's like supposed to be an exclusive or something, give us the Mark IV with a gantry.
Right.
Even if there's no head sculpt, we'll take it. Just change the freaking colors on.
You know what would be
Iron Man, and we'll take it.
Yeah, and again, it does have a cool factor to it because it's the gantry set. There is a cool
I actually
factor
do like
to
the gantry like this, but the problem is that what I'd be paying the most for is the Iron Man figure.
Yeah.
I want to take. I actually like this gantry. I actually like the neon tech gantry part of it. because it has some different. If it's got lighting, it has some really cool lighting effect.
And it has those swap out translucent pieces and stuff. So it is cool, but it's like,
but I want to stick in a regular. I want to stick in a regular Iron Man. Like if that was a Mark IV, getting.
And then it won't fit. That's the thing because of the neon tech like people in the chat. What do you think of this release? Like, is this one that you open it up and you're like angry, or you're just like, oh well, we're not going to get it anytime soon, so I don't care.
What if I don't know. What if if they had this, and what if you had that in the Mark II, and you could, like, I don't know, made some sort of thing where it would zap it up and turn it into the stealth version or something like that. It would be kind of, that gantry would actually be cool. But the problem is, I hate the Iron Man figure. I like the gantry, hate the Iron Man figure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, I'm not angry about it. It is a Shanghai store exclusive after all, and we may or may not get it. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's like I feel like they could do better. I'm not surprised by it because it's Iron Man and it sells well, but it's like I'm hoping now that they're busting that mold out again, maybe we'll be surprised and we'll get a Mark IV with gantry reissue because they did do the quarter scale version and then now this. So I think it's definitely right around the corner. I've said this before. Once I get like most of the original armors, I'll be happy in 6 scale format. I don't collect the quarter scale stuff, unfortunately, because I don't have the room. But yeah. So Demetrius says, I'm good with variants, but I'm not a fan of this one. Yeah, and it's like the neon tech stuff already isn't really a fan favorite. So the fact that they did a really coveted set in neon tech fashion is very interesting to me. But what are you going to do?
It's not really, the neon tech's not really marketed for us anyways.
No, not really. I mean, but they still do sell it here. And who knows if we'll get this one or not. Because we still haven't seen that Mark V set pop up. That was another Shanghai exclusive. So we may not even get this one. So
yeah, I just think there's like people getting angry that it's being made. And it's just kind of like, you know what? Like there's this one specific comment where the person's like, Hot Toys, stop making these. Well, guess what? Just because you don't like it,
some people collect
doesn't
them.
mean anything.
Yes.
You know, and it's kind of, I'm getting tired of this bully mentality with collectors lately. Like, I don't want this. So what's your problem? Why do you like it? Type of attitude. You shouldn't like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are people that collect neon tech. They may be few and far between, but I'm sure if you collect neon tech, you're like, man, this is like, and granted, it is like the Tron paint job that we always talk about with the neon tech stuff. That's always our comparison. So it's pretty cool, but not for me. And also that's going to be a pricey set. And for a neon tech, I'm like, oh no. Oh, we got the Tinder bot.
Our group's finally getting up in the world now. We got,
the Tinder bot showed its head not long ago, but it hasn't come back since. But yeah. Yes, Violet, I gave you another shout out. I'm very excited to get my Darth Vader picture. You already know, though. I told you I'm super excited. Once I get them both framed, like I said, I'll show them off on stream. The bots are back in town. We don't want the bots to come back. I'd rather not make it and not have bots. But guys, another hot topic. The reason I'm pulling this up first on Hot Toys page is because Sideshow did not put the updated photo, and you'll see what the updated photo is here in a second. But after all this time, guys, we finally got the Cobb Vanth. Now, a big topic of discussion, of course, is the head sculpt because we were all waiting for the head sculpt for the longest time. Me personally, after talking it over with other collectors and really taking a look at it myself, I think that the prototype is about an 8 out of 10 in terms of the overall likeness and how it looks. I think the paint job on this one is what's kind of throwing it off. It seems like one of those rushed paint jobs where like, let's get it out. Let's show people, hey, we got the Cobb Vanth coming out. And I think they just kind of put it together to get these photos out to us and get the pre-orders up. Especially there's some pictures from Secret Base that I've seen, and you could tell that the paint wasn't quite there. And I think that's what's throwing this off for me. Granted, I do think this does look like Timothy Oliphant. I think overall it's really nice. But it's just a little off. And I think it's the paint that's throwing me off just because this isn't like Hot Toys top tier work. This is just a prototype image, you know? So once they get closer to production, they're absolutely going to do their normal treatment, which is always a beautiful job from Hot Toys in the paint department. So I'm not worried about it whatsoever.
You know what could have happened with this and it would have just saved all the problems if they blurred out the head sculpt like they have in the past with other things.
Right, like with the
and everybody would be fine
Dafoe
with it right
sculpt,
now.
Yeah.
We would just be talking about, oh, what kind of look is he going to have? Is he going to have gray? Is he going to be filtered in? You know, is his hair going to come down from the forehead or not? Stuff like that is what we would be talking about.
Right. I agree. And guys, I think for me, the biggest thing with this one is the price. Now, for those of you that don't know, in the US, this one on Sideshow is $300. Now, let's compare this to more recent pre-orders that have gone up. Two examples that I would like to use are the Grand Inquisitor and Reva. Those two figures both have head sculpts. They have USB power, and they're $260. Now, if we theorize, I'll share my thoughts, and then we'll kind of move on to Lane and Sean. But my theory on this is, number one, I think because it took so long for them to show us this Timothy Oliphant head sculpt, and the many times we saw Cobb Vanth at cons, he just had the helmet on. So I think Sideshow and Hot Toys, they had to cough up that moolah for this figure because maybe the likeness was hard for them to get, and it was expensive. That's my best educated guess on that, just because why else would it be such a difference in price? And that would explain that time gap of like, where's Cobb Vanth? Where's Cobb Vanth? And they kept showing them and showing them. And that tells me, and the same thing with the Bad Batch figures. I still have that same theory where I think they're working on those head sculpts, so it's just taking them longer to put them out. But yeah, something tells me that that's why this guy is $300. Also, I was on Geeking Out yesterday, and we also talked about the fact that Hot Toys and Sideshow are starting to raise pricing on things. So maybe this is a sign of what the pricing is going to be like in the future. I think we do have to wait and see some more pre-orders go up to see what the pricing is like on them. But that's what I have to say on the matter in terms of price. Lane, what are your thoughts on the price? Is $300 too much for this figure?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
This guy, I'm leaving out just that it's reused parts of Boba Fett and everything like that.
Exactly. That's all it is.
The head sculpt and everything. Now they finally showed him just that it looks like he borrowed the body type of your Cable.
So Peyton brought this up in chat, actually. So yes, guys, while we're on the topic and stuff, we brought up this photo. They did update the photos, and now you can remove the armor from Cobb Vanth, because originally, shout out to Monica Dew, he went to Secret Base and they told him that it was not removable. So this has definitely been added after the fact, and that's why they updated the photos afterwards. But this is a game changer for this figure, I think, Lane. But yeah, back to your thoughts on the. Sorry, it was just a side.
I honestly think, like, I know a lot of people Cobb for Cobb Vanth. This is not a guy I'm buying. I like Cobb, but he's not someone I would spend $300 on. I think he should be maybe 275, 285 range, and even that might be pushing it a little bit.
Right, and
I agree with that price.
I do too.
I think with the Boba, the reason I would say versus with the Inquisitors we've seen so far, who have completely different body armors and stuff, is that there is production with the Boba Fett, the Mandalorian style armors, having them removable. This one has a facial sculpt of a guy who has had a little bit of a career, maybe a little bit more than some of the other, actors who played the characters. So it might be more expensive. And now, do I think the head sculpt for $300 especially needs to be much better? Yes. Although, honestly, to me, as I was making the joke of when I first saw it, I was calling him Obi Cobb Wanobi or something like that, because he reminded me of the Obi-Wan.
You're so clever.
I know, I'm a genius, man.
But yeah, it's that beard, and again, I think
I just meant the beard part of it. Yeah,
a lot of it's that paint.
I know a lot of people have been saying maybe it's gone up or have been talking about because they, I guess, went to a third party to help develop this.
Yeah.
The facial sculpt, but this isn't the first time they've used third party. Now, another was a bait, like I'm thinking of the base from Mysterio Iron Man, but that base turned out amazing. Like that is one of the coolest bases we've seen in probably a while from Hot Toys. So that one was a big win. But doing a base versus a facial sculpt and everything, I just think for $300, and I'm speaking for the prototype. I know I always expect a little bit of a drop off. I would consider more for production drop off versus prototype than reversal, even though Hot Toys has done it backwards before, that I think to get people, even though he is number one right now, but obviously he's in kind of the first announcement week or whatever. I want to see where he is, maybe like mid-October.
Right, because that always happens. Everybody's real hyped, and especially with an anticipated figure like this, there's a lot of initial pre-orders that go through.
But this guy, though, for $300 is, what I'm going to relate this just to what we were talking about with some other figures and stuff. Is this a character, especially with, let's say, 6 months from now? When we've got Mando season 3, maybe there might be a little bit more hype, but in between,
he'll be different in Mando season 3 though, because he has he's going to be cybernetic, obviously, because of the injuries. But
I know RoboCop,
basically, yeah.
But I mean, there are going to be other characters in that show, a lot more Mandos and stuff that I think people might be a little bit more hyped for seeing, since that seems about Mandalore is going to be a little bit more of the focus, probably with some standalone episodes mixed in and stuff with it.
Yeah.
I think that this figure, I could see where 6 to 8 months from now, this could maybe be one you had. I don't think it's gonna be a shorthand as like Kate Bishop and stuff was like 3 months, and we might 3 or 4 months for pre-order. But this is a figure I could see tumbling down because of the price point, and it's not a Vader, it's not an Obi-Wan, it's not a Luke, it's not a Leia, it's not even a Din Djarin or a Grogu or anybody like that. I think he'll have some initial success, but I think he'll be in the Casca Reeves territory within 6 months.
I think so. It remains to be seen, and like you said, he does have that initial push of being like a fresh pre-order, but
that Christmas club needed to be 9.5 out of 10, I think. For $300. If that was, it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, the base is cool, but it's nothing special in terms of it didn't cost them much to add an extra little lip on the, you know what I mean? And I do applaud them for doing something different, because this one was an obvious one where you're like, oh shit, we're getting the Sam base again. But I think they know now, and it seems like they've been straying away from that Sam base lately. And I'm glad to see that, because I'm tired of seeing it, and after they gave us the Sam base for IG-11, I'm like, all right, you're done. You're officially not allowed to use the Sam base. So but everybody, real quick, and same one says, smash that like button and take a subscription with you if you haven't already. My tapeworm and the bits, thank you all. Guys, we have 36 people watching. If you haven't liked this stream yet, please consider doing so. It really helps us out. And subscribe if you have not already, so you can enter that giveaway and give yourself a chance to win that hot toy. The video just got posted today. Payton says it's $284 on Comic Concepts. There you go, guys. So that's a better price, a better deal in the U.S. Obviously, with Sideshow, we typically try to wait it out and use coupons and such. So you can get a better deal in Sideshow as well. It's just a matter of when. Eric says, I think prices for the Inquisitors are low because they know it's going to be low batch. It's possible, Eric. The thing is I think Cobb Vanth and the Inquisitors are both B, C tier characters in terms of their star quality and the backstory to the characters, because we haven't seen enough from them yet to make them A tier, even S tier, So I think that's part of it too. But the thing that's confusing is the Inquisitor is a completely new mold. Everything on it is new, all of the armor. It has USB power, and it's they're doing all new things, but this really the only thing that's super new on this is the head sculpt, all of these Boba parts, the spotchka they already made for Fennec. So it's there's not a lot of new stuff with this figure. So the price tag is definitely a little concerning. And like Kumar is saying here, he's saying the worrying point is if this will be the new norm. I don't know if again, I don't know if it's just, hey, Timothy Oliphant, his likeness was a pain in the butt to get, so it's going to cost us. And if that's the case, if you're a fan of Cobb Vanth, you're willing to pay for that, It's just, I wish I had a bit more answers for you guys, because it is confusing looking at recent pre-orders compared to this one, why he's so expensive. But it could be Hot Toys is you know what, we're going to mix it up every once in a while. We're going to give them a cheap one here, a 285 here, a 300, and they're just going to keep doing that, and they're going to slowly keep bringing up those numbers, and I could see them doing that. They're just kind of easing us in, as opposed to being everything's 300 now. Because they know everybody's going to be real mad if that happens. So maybe they're just easing us into that 300 price point. You never know. Eric says he's not complaining. He dropped a day one on Cobb Vanth. No, I understand. No, it's completely understandable for sure. Clone Trooper, how's it going, bro? He says InArt set a new ceiling, open the door for Hot Toys to step up prices. Yeah, and we did talk about this when InArt first started getting talked about. We did say like those prices, Hot Toys may see that and be like, oh, well, if they're going to pay this for InArt, we can start raising our prices too. Now, there are many other things affecting those prices, obviously, with them having to shut down all the time or limit production because of COVID and stuff like that. There are a lot of things that go into it that we don't know about. So you have to give them some leeway, but the prices are getting concerning for sure. Yes, absolutely. So Eric says all high-end collectible prices are on the rise. Statues, Legos, 1/6, HasLab, even Funko Pops, vintage collection figures, NECA, everything's going up in price. Munmax said this has junk written all over it. I don't know if I personally would call it junk. Like I said, I feel like the head sculpt just needed to be a bit better.
Good enough to be the Millennium Falcon Mando outfits there
for $20. Come on, man, $20. You can at least do 100. You can at least do 100. If you said 100,
you can at least do as much as the Black Series cost.
Right, you can at least cover the cost. Cover the cost of a Black Series figure, which is $29. Okay.
I ordered
That's a whole
two.
different matter.
What'd you say, Sean?
I ordered two.
Two Cobb. I'm guessing one with the armor and one without.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are gonna consider that. Me personally, I think because I have so many Boba Fett figures in my collection, I don't need the armored up Cobb Vanth, so I'd rather just pull the armor off of him and kind of have it sitting with him in the display somehow. I think I'd rather do that. Maybe even here's a thought: maybe even the swoop bike and have Cobb like loading up the armor on the back of it as if he's giving it back to Mando. That might be cool too. There's definitely a lot of options, but yeah, guys, I definitely am going to be picking up this figure. It's just I'm not too happy about the price. But I'm not too happy about the price, but I am happy that we got the figure. I'll put it that way. And I'm definitely going to utilize my sideshow rewards and such on this guy because I don't want to pay the full $300 because it's just not worth it for me at that price. But you guys have many other options. Sideshow, Comic Concepts, as was mentioned in the chat. CollectorZown, of course, he does deals all the time. Marcos, go into his Facebook group. He does deals all the time. So there's definitely opportunities to save some money on this figure. You just have to be patient and know where to look. But Boba Fettuccini says, without the head sculpt to the entree eye, he looks like skinny little Boba Fett. Looks great with the armor removed too. Yeah, the armor removed look is definitely the way to go for me for sure. I think he looks awesome with the armor removed. I think that's really like the true Cobb Vanth look, and that's closer to what we saw him as in the Book of Boba Fett, of course. But yeah, I'm gonna wait and see, get my coupons together, and go from there because I'm just not trying to spend $300 on this guy when I don't think he's worth it, you know. Let's see who's next. Sorry, all these comments are pushing me further and further. Where are all these comments coming from? Okay. So guys, the repaint Boba Fett. This was kind of an interesting one. As you guys know, Lane, for example, has had his repaint Boba Fett for weeks now, right, Lane?
Well, I had it for weeks.
Look at him go.
Right.
I had it for weeks. I just mailed it back, remember?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. You received yours weeks ago. So
yeah. So that's why for once I was going to say, ha! I beat the unsealed and revealed from Sideshow. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this is a phenomenon, guys. We're getting a figure first, literally first in the U.S. before,
like this
right? A big release for a lot of people, including myself. And that's both versions, not just the standard repaint Boba Fett, but the repaint Boba Fett with Throne.
And you're just shipping soon, isn't it?
Mine actually just shipped. I just got tracking for mine yesterday, and I know some other people got emails saying that theirs would ship out on the 30th. So,
and you guys know from my thing, I think this guy is an amazing figure. Like you had to. I was not meaning it to be showing off, but I wanted to show it repeatedly, especially the Throne like last week and everything, because I think this Boba Fett is now the Boba Fett itself here, like the figure, I think is good. I do think overall I would of the modern Boba Fett, not the Jeremy Bullock Boba Fett. like with the arena suit and stuff, but modern Boba Fett. I think I actually, if you were not caring about the throne and just talking about getting a Boba Fett figure, I would tell you I think you should get the Book of Boba Fett, because I think actually that one I like better overall.
Yeah. So the thing with that one is I think it's closer to what people wanted. They wanted like a completely refreshed Boba Fett. With this one, obviously you have the visible damage and stuff underneath. People want that fully smooth, like back in the saddle Boba Fett look that we got from Book of Boba Fett.
So he can slowly talk you to death. So he can slowly talk you into disintegration rather than blasting you into
right. Yeah. Right? So, and not only that, with Cad Bane coming out, that's going to be definitely a popular pair with those.
Cobb Vanth. It's going to if you're getting Cad Bane, I don't see how you cannot get Cobb Vanth, or at least like consider it. Like, maybe you don't have $300 to put on that, which also puts another thing that Cad Bane is $270 or $290 for a deluxe. And Cobb Vanth is just $300.
Yeah. So Bob says maybe Hot Toys is going to reissue K2SO for Andor. This could explain the almost gone status for KX. The thing is K2 is not supposed to be in season 1. Like, it's already been confirmed that he's not in season 1. Now that doesn't mean that there won't be. Well, but the thing is, they're not going to not bring in Alan again for K2. So I think what may happen is maybe we'll get like a little tease of him towards the end of the first season. That I don't think is off of the table, but I don't think he's going to have a role in season 1.
Yeah, the guy that was the voice and played K2SO in Rogue One. Also,
Alan Tudyk. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
The guy from Firefly. He made the comment that, but this was like a while ago. He's like, I'm not in that first season.
Right.
And that's what he said. He's like, I'm not in that first season.
Yeah. So,
and the person interviewing, they're like, well, that's not a denial that you're going to be in it.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm not in the first season.
I think it's very clear that they're going to bring him back, because we all want to know like where he found K2, how he was reprogrammed, like that. We all want to know that. So he's going to show up. It's just the first season.
Cassian's still barely even not even started his career really.
Right, exactly. Cassian's just starting to learn what it is to be a rebel and decide what he wants to do with his life moving forward.
That's kind of what the first season is, I think, about.
Exactly. Overall. There's a lot of setup.
And then season 2 is where we get to see him. I'm hoping the show. I'm hoping not jumping too much in Andor, because we're looking at Book of Boba, End of Mando, Boba Fett. I am hoping Andor, if not this first season, the second season gets to have some single episode missions or stuff he gets to do. So we get to see him in some different situations. That's and stuff. Cool pose there. Yeah, I mean the thing I really like with the Throne guys, I'll just tell you from my experience with it, is you can do some really neat things with him in a sitting position, where you're not having to completely manipulate all over the place and everything, his footing and stuff. You can put him in a lot of different
and his feet go flat. Lane was showing it to me. Yeah. I know those of you that have Palpatine with the throne, his throne sits up a bit higher, so his feet dangle like a little kid in a barbershop chair or in a bar stool. That doesn't happen with this guy. He looks really nice. Lane actually showed it to me backstage when we were on a stream the other day, and he looks really, really good. So
yeah, this is one where I would say, if you're considering this figure, if you're considering this version of Boba Fett, and even if you have to save up for a little bit or something, or put a payment plan, if you're I'm never gonna tell someone spend $400 on a Hot Toys figure.
I might tell you if I see it in person. I like it. I might tell you.
Yeah. But no. But I'm just saying that if you're considering getting this figure, then, and we haven't even talked about the head sculpt. I mean, like, we're kind of almost forgetting that with this, that this is literally probably for Book of Boba era, 6 years after. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the head sculpt to come, but this is the closest you're going to get with kind of somewhat healed up, looking like Book of Boba Fett, where you can put a head sculpt. Hey, as a head sculpt is only with this deluxe version. So if you're considering this figure, I would honestly, even though it is $145 more, so it's quite a bit more than the other version of it versus $245. Get the throne version of it. Like, this is one of those cases I would say, even if you're not sure exactly, you can fit this throne into a detolf shelf, if that's how you collect
which
it,
is a big selling point for a lot of people that have detolf.
And,
for sure.
And it's not just fit the detolf. Now, on the sides, it might be a little hard, but let's say you want to have some Mandos, or you know, we eventually get, I don't know, some guys from Mandalore,
Gamorrean guards, maybe.
If there's, I think that kind of deadline passed.
Or Black Carsantan, if we ever get him.
Yeah, but you can fit, because I was able to in my detolf. Now it barely fit, so I'm going to be clear. It barely fit, but I was able to fit Boba with like his gun and his jetpack in front of the throne, and I had Jango. Now they were right against the back wall, so there's not a ton of space, but I was able to fit heavy infantry Mando and Jango Fett behind him, like on opposite sides of the detolf, with them in cool poses behind him, almost like guards, or you know, that kind of thing. So you can fit stuff around them. So you'll be able to
good.
Fit
that was a lot of people's concern, obviously, with this one. So it's definitely good that you can do that.
So anyway, I'm going to show.
Did they have the stands on?
What was your question?
Did they have the stands on when you fit them behind them in the detolf, or were they without the stands?
No, I never posed my figure with the stands.
What?
No, if you're using the stands, you're not going to be able to fit them.
Yeah,
you can fill. Sorry, thanks for helping me clarify with that. But I don't use the stands. Oh yeah,
I was just going to be like, how deep is your detolf? Because I've never seen a detolf.
Lane's got them mega detolfs.
Yeah, I just said make my detolf grow. Like, you threw a Lord Zed grenade at it.
So Euler says he had to raise his prices by 40% last December, and he's going to have to raise them again by another 10%. He owns an installation company, and he didn't really have a choice. It was either raise the prices or go broke. Yeah, dude, I feel you. I mean, a lot of companies are running into that same issue, especially like small businesses, you know, and it's like that's the only way they can keep themselves afloat. So,
well, hey, Clone Collector said he made a comment. He only gets Sideshow emails that say delayed and delayed and delayed.
Yeah,
well, posted up some people I mean, we're watching lots of weird stuff jockey back and forth. Sideshow just sent out
Arena Boba
today.
Fett.
Well, yeah, some Arena Boba, but I saw that some people are getting the Armorized Deadpool has been moved up.
Really?
Next year to like October. Now it's October to December, so it's still, I mean, by the end of the year, I guess you might start seeing them.
Star Killer, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you as always. But yeah, Darcy, that's awesome. Congratulations on the Arena Boba Fett conversion. That figure is wonderful. I know it's a repaint with some slight add-ons, but it's really such an awesome figure. So I hope you enjoy it. Let us know how it is. Next time we're on stream, by this time, I'm sure you'll have your Arena Boba Fett. Let us know what you think of it. So I did pronounce Alan's name wrong. Euler said it's Alan to Dick. Seriously. Okay. Of course, we had to write it that way. KX will come into play in the Night of 1,000 Tears in Mando Season 3 or Andor Season 2, and we'll get K2 from that. Yeah, I think K2 is definitely going to show up in Season 2 or later. Because the first season, like Lane and I were saying, is more so like Cassian kind of finding himself, finding his place in the world, working alongside the rebellion. Obviously, I'm not going to say too much because for those of you that didn't see the show yet, I want you to be able to see it.
Well, Andor sat down and watched Obi-Wan and realized, you know what? How not to do things is to be in utter bitch fest mode, like certain Inquisitorius here. The entire time.
We're gonna talk about the Inquisitors. Andrea said he just pre-ordered KX, but he feels there will be another Kate Bishop. Her head sculpt is not 100%. There may be. I like the Kate Bishop head sculpt, and I am one of those people that likes that little bandage on her chin too. I just think it's something different. I know a lot of people were up in arms about that one when it first dropped, but I dig it. I think it's cool. I think it's real cool.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Can you dig it? And same one says, great stream and amazing chat. Thursday Night Football is calling. All right, bro. Thank you so much for being here as always.
Thank you.
If you don't end up popping back in before we get off, have a great night. And thank you so much for being here.
No, you totally, you put that to the Warriors, and that was another wrestling Booker T.
Of course I took it to the Warriors. Euler says, what if Captain Carter was moved up from April to this year? Oh, man. I mean, they're just going to keep moving stuff up that is easier for them to make, I think.
I'm looking at Clone Collector's comment. Oh,
Oh, what did he say now? Clone Collector, what are you doing, man?
With all these delays, they are now up to, it's right after.
Oh, that's Clone Trooper. Clone Trooper.
Sorry, not Clone Collector. Clone Trooper.
Yeah, there's delays coming. Delays are coming.
There's
for sure.
figures in Q4. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
All right, guys, let's move on to something a bit more positive for me. For me at least. I don't know about you all, but yes, this is the Vader's Appreciation Club. That's what this is. But this is
well, I don't know about that. The Vader
minus Reva. She didn't really appreciate Vader too much.
Well, I would call it more, at least even including her, you can make it as like this is the Vinny Vader, like kiss my robo armor backside club.
Right. But so guys, I'm not too shocked by this. I really am not. I mean, when we first saw the Grand Inquisitor tease, we talked about it on stream. We're like, all right, well, we're definitely getting Reva now. And then once we saw Reva pop up, I'm like, all right, well, now there's potential for more. So the fact that we're getting a full squad of it, and of course, this isn't a guarantee. This is not whatsoever not a guarantee, but it is a good sign that we're seeing a full frontal shot of the character with, right? You know what I mean? Because typically with those Hot Toys teases that sometimes don't come to fruition, we're seeing looking over their shoulder, we're seeing their torso, we're seeing the back of their head, you know? Well, of course, some of those still do end up happening, but when the figure's not quite ready to put out on pre-order and they're still in the development phase, that's what they do. And with this, we're not seeing that. We're seeing a fully developed figure with 2 other figures that are already up on pre-order. So that tells me there's a very likely chance that we'll get.
I think we'll see all 4 of these guys at the Sideshow Con, New York Comic Con.
It's very possible, Lane. I think that's a good observation. I think it's very possible that they probably
I don't think they would put this out unless we were going to. Now, that doesn't mean even they're going to necessarily do it. Now, you know, even if they end up not doing 4th Sister and 5th Brother, I'm actually kind of happy to see they at least try to do full figures for them, because it gives hope for other lines going forward that they are willing to take and do at least try to and possibly come out with some other secondary characters and stuff for other shows and stuff. I mean, I would hope they would do it if they went this far. I'm just saying the fact they actually did full prototypes and everything of these guys is a nice sign. At least we're not just going to see necessarily repetition for other properties and shows, the same characters over and over and over again, kind of thing.
Right. And kind of going off of what Oilers is saying here, he said the fact that they're showing the full bodies with head sculpts, these are coming. And I think so. I think these are absolutely coming. Again, we already have Reva and the Grand Inquisitor on pre-order, so why not give us these 2? And if you're showing us the full figure, you're telling me that you've developed these figures and you're almost ready to put them up for
Disney
pre-order.
Had them go all in on Obi-Wan.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is like, here's the thing, guys. If you weren't a big fan of Kenobi, I think even so, if you're a fan of Star Wars and especially Star Wars Rebels, this still has you like, oh man, finally we got some Inquisitors.
But 4th Sister was not in Rebels.
Of course she wasn't, but these are Inquisitors regardless. Like that's that's the point I'm making.
5th Brother was, but I was going to
say of course, right? Of course not. But does she look cool? Yeah, absolutely, she looks cool.
Now, if they could have just given 7th Sister and give us, Sarah Michelle Gellar Inquisitor, I would have been much more up for that.
Yeah, that would be cool for sure. But
Miriam like Barasafi or something like that.
Right. But still though, I still think these are going to happen for sure. And Saful's over here saying, tell that to Clone Wars. Saful, I usually have an answer for a lot of things, but at this point, I don't know what's going on with that Clone Wars Obi. I don't, man. And that one's kind of like its own thing where it's like
it's its own meme at this point.
Yeah, I was very certain that was coming out last year. I was very certain, and then nothing. We haven't heard a peep. So it's like, why has that not come out? But we got the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan Kenobi figure from the Kenobi show. You know, it's like it's obviously not an issue with the license. So I don't know, man.
We got Grand Inquisitor instead of Clone Wars Obi-Wan. You're kind of like, what?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is very cool. I'm really excited. I'm glad I got that second Vader, because that Vader with these guys behind him is going to be a dream display for me. Like I'm all for this, guys. I'm really excited about this. I said this yesterday on Geeking Out. I'm not 100% like this sculpt isn't 100% there for the 5th Brother, but it could be the angle, because his chin is stuck down a little bit, so it kind of throws off the shape of his face. But I think the likeness is mostly there. It's like an 8.5 out of 10. But overall, like, this is going to be such a beautiful display with Vader and these guys behind him. This is going to be really cool, and I'm really excited for it. I know a lot of people are still wanting a lot of original trilogy stuff, but you got to remember with newer IPs where there's still some hype left, they're going to put out stuff. And like Lane said, Disney does have some influence on these releases. So I'm not surprised that they're like, all right, well, let's put out the whole crew of Inquisitors if that's what Disney wants. And I still think we might get even more from Kenobi. I don't think this is it. I really don't.
Guess what? I got a couple more delay emails.
Oh, did you? Now. What'd you get? Let me check my email while we're live here.
I just got Tony Stark mech test. Now, it wasn't a huge delay. Supposedly now November, December. This is the one.
Oh no, Mandalorian and Grogu, the Mando Deluxe. No,
Mando and Grogu guys has been delayed till December to January of 2023. Yeah. So that means now Mace Windu is not coming till 2026.
At this rate, everybody's going to be joining him. Look at this. But moving on to the next, that GIF is kind of bringing us into the next. Guys, we also, today was an active morning. We also got a tease for Black Adam. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Everybody was showing the Shazam photo and comparing it to this. But guys, this is different. I'm going to tell you why it's different. Number one, there is an insane amount of hype behind Black Adam. And for those of you that are fans of Shazam, you're probably like, oh, well, I was really excited for Shazam. But let's be real. Like, not that many people were excited for Shazam, the figure itself. Not that many people were excited. Those that were excited for it are the ones that are constantly posting like, oh, where's Shazam? Where's Shazam? You know? But Black Adam is a different story. And it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And they've done, with the G.I. Joe release, they've done a Dwayne The Rock Johnson figure in the past. So they know just his star power alone will sell this figure. And that's the true fact. I mean, a lot of you guys, I'm sure, when your favorite actor shows up in a figure, even if you're not like the biggest fan of the content, you're like, oh, well, that's a Johnny Depp figure. That's a Keanu Reeves figure. Like, perfect example. A lot of people didn't like the new Neo. They don't like the movie Matrix Resurrections, but they like the new Neo because it's a Keanu Reeves figure and it's nice looking. So there's a lot of star power that will sell this figure, propel the sales for it. Not only that, with the Shazam, we didn't see a head sculpt at all. We get to see a head sculpt with this one. If anything, I would compare this tease to the Electro tease. This is basically exactly the shot we got for the Electro tease. You could see we do have, of course, there's some Photoshop here, but this is, these are Hot Toys effects. You can tell this is what we typically get from Hot Toys in terms of those like energy or lightning effects. And we do have a shot of the jawline and the mouth of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So I do think that this one's going to happen just because there's so much hype behind this movie. And it's a Dwayne The Rock Johnson figure. Hot Toys knows it's going to sell well. So I think this is going to happen. Is it going to show up at New York Con? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be that soon. But Electro didn't take too long. I don't know if you guys remember in the chat. I don't remember the exact amount of time of how long it took from that tease of Electro for him to go up for pre-order. But I don't believe it was that long. So, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Hopefully we smell what The Rock is cooking and we get this figure, because I'm one of those people. I have a lot of faith in this movie, just because of the way Dwayne The Rock Johnson has been talking about it. He seems very passionate. He seems very certain that this is going to be a fan favorite movie. So I'm hoping that translates to what it actually ends up being in the final product.
They got their work cut out, because Prime One put out already a third scale statue for this, that the head sculpt for that statue of The Rock looked amazing. Now, it's not fair to compare 6th scale and 3rd scale. I mean, we're talking big size difference here. But they already, that one the prototype looked really good, although Prime One has a tendency sometimes for their prototype to production to not turn out so great sometimes. But I'm just saying, because there's already been a product out of this character, which had a pretty amazing looking live action head sculpt, they got their work that they're going to have. Hopefully this will have a pretty good one if and when they finally fully Hey guys, this could be another one we might see, at Comic-Con too, possibly.
Yeah. Payton says they got the rights to make Black Adam figures earlier in the year. Yeah, but I mean, that's not always a guarantee. I hate to say it, but it's not always a guarantee, but we'll see. We'll see. I think it's definitely happening, though. Euler says it's not happening. I think it is, Oilers. I'm going to say it's going to happen. I do think it's going to happen. Yeah, Star Killer, I agree with you there, man. I would love to see a Dr. Fate for sure. Hawkman would be cool as well, but Dr. Fate especially, Pierce Brosnan is the man, so I'd love to see that.
Let's see, be an older white guy, so we know they would probably get the head sculpt kit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, they didn't show us much here, guys, so I just kind of wanted to show you all that. Sideshow actually did put up a couple days ago, or actually yesterday, I think they put this up. They did put up their video here for the repaint Boba Fett. So I kind of wanted to check that out real quick. But yeah, so like Lane was saying, this figure, a lot of people draw attention to the throne, but for me with this figure, it's the head sculpt that is really exciting. Apart from the throne, the head sculpt is really exciting as well because we're not getting a head sculpt with the Book of Boba Fett one. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that throne Boba, put the helmet on him and give that head sculpt to the Book of Boba Fett one. Because obviously the meme with Book of Boba Fett Boba is he's always got his helmet off. Why does he always have his helmet off, right? So I'm going to give that sculpt to the Book of Boba Fett Boba and just have this guy on the throne. Basically what I'm getting this throne Boba for is to recreate that final scene. Because you guys remember how hype was that final scene in The Mandalorian where Boba Fett goes into Jabba's palace and blasts Bib Fortuna and takes the throne and kind of sits his rifle down, and then Fennec sits by his side, you know? That's what I want to recreate. That's where my Fennec is going, and that's where my throne Boba is going. That's what I want to recreate in my collection. But yeah, he looks really good, and I believe it was Seyful mentioned earlier that there's some inaccuracies on this figure, and there definitely are. When people originally brought this up, I really looked into it and looked at a lot of stills and clips from The Mandalorian, and it's absolutely inaccurate in many ways. But and Seyful also said, which I agree with, it is a nice figure, you know. And the thing with Hot Toys is, are they always accurate? Absolutely not. I mean, I think with almost every figure, you can find some inaccuracies. But with that being said, I think they're accurate enough to where you're like, okay, this is still a really nice figure, you know. And it's not always 100% about accuracy. I think for me, as long as it's like 90% there, I'm satisfied, and it won't bother me personally. But I understand some people are like huge sticklers for accuracy, and these little things kind of bother them to the point where they don't want the figure. And I understand that everybody's different. All collectors are different. But for me personally, if it's almost there, I'm satisfied, you know. Starkiller says he has 2 payments left to get his Boba and throne. This looks awesome. I'm thinking I'm getting a second one. Dude, this would be a cool one to double up on. If you have the space for it, I envy you. I don't have the space for it right now. But yeah, that would absolutely be a cool one to double up on. Isn't that interesting? They're comparing the height between the original bird poop Boba Fett, as we like to call it, with this one. Very similar, but you can see this one's a bit taller on the right. I still think I like the repaint Boba better. I don't dislike the bird poop Boba at all. I think he's really nice. But for me, that pack, the shining star of that pack was the robed Boba, the hobo Boba. That's the one that I wanted. Raxus says the all black is better. For sure. Absolutely. How you doing, by the way, Raxus? I hope you're doing well. Get to the part where he's on the throne. Oh, we get a shot of the head sculpt here. It looks so good, man. I mean, I could tell you guys, if you don't own the previous Boba Fett 2-pack, the sculpt is really nice, man. It's a beautiful sculpt. It's actually one of the best sculpts, in my opinion, that Hot Toys has done. I think out of all the Tamara Morrison sculpts, including the clone ones where they're obviously using Tamara Morrison's likeness, this is the best one for sure. I think that's about all they show here. I just kind of wanted to show you guys a brief look at Sideshow's video.
Well, they are going to show some close-ups of the throne at the end.
Oh, do they? We'll go back. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, if you go back a little bit farther, they actually showed just the throne by itself.
Lane, we're supposed to pre-watch it. We're supposed to be watching this live together.
Well,
oh yeah, there's that.
Even if you go back a little bit farther, it's like they just have.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember you pointing this out to me. It's almost like a patinaed copper, and it looks really, really nice. I'm excited to get it. And you said it's got some weight to it, right? It doesn't feel hollow.
Definitely got wet. It's not to the point where you have to worry it's going to crack your detolf or anything like that.
Right.
But it's got weight and strength to it. Like That's it
good.
feels like this for the extra money you spent, like the $145. Now, whether you consider an animate object like this worth the $145 extra that you paid in comparison, of course I would probably say it's like $100 you paid for it, and then 40 something for this facial sculpt would probably be the two big things. But
for sure,
it's a great piece, and I think this is. I mean, this is just me as a collector looking at it. That I think this is going to be it's a throne piece. I mean, I know the T'Challa throne, I think, is still sought after this day. That this is going to be a piece on people look for a couple of years from now, trying to track down kind of thing.
The T'Challa throne is dirt cheap still. It did go up a little bit because of the Black Panther hype, but not that one. But I do agree with this one, though. This one I could see in the future being a very sought after piece because it is Boba Fett, it's Star Wars, and we don't get a lot of these like diorama style pieces for Star Wars.
And it's something you could maybe put kind of with Jabba the Hutt if you get like the sideshow one or something like that too.
I have the sideshow one.
It's a good figure, man. I mean, I'm glad we got this out. Oh yeah.
Real quick before we start this, Broken says he wants to see if Arena Boba Fett can be seated on the throne. I've seen somebody put him on there. He looks really, really cool, and they had him kind of sitting with the spear,
looking like Conan the Barbarian and stuff.
Yeah,
throne picture of him.
Yeah, it looks real good, man. It really does. But guys, we talked about this last stream. I told you guys how much I loved this movie. Who watched The Crow since last stream? If you haven't, guys, I'm telling you. This is a timeless movie, in my opinion. I love this movie so much. Some of you guys, I don't know how young some of you all are, but it might be past your generation. If not, definitely you have to watch The Crow. For those of you who don't know, the Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, played the main character, Eric Draven, and he did pass away during the filming of this video. So this was his last movie that he did. And he did pass. Why did I just hear myself briefly? Was that you, Lane?
No.
Anyways,
I said that you said video. You mean movie?
Yeah.
When he passed away.
You know what I meant.
You've been on YouTube too much, bro.
Right. Eddie said the table scene is one of my favorite. Dude, yeah, it's so good, man. And more so, favorite scenes from The Crow. One of my more favorite scenes is when he breaks into the pawn shop and gets Shelly's ring back. I really like that scene, and he kind of walks out and blows the place up. And then the other one, of course, I mentioned this on last stream, is when the girl who was his neighbor is skateboarding in the rain, and we have the famous quote, "It can't rain all the time." I thought that was a really special and powerful scene. So, but it's such a good movie. Eddie says he loves this. It's so good, man. And it's one of those movies I could watch it, and like Terminator 2 and Star Wars, like films like that, I could watch them over and over again. RoboCop, and just never get tired of them. And this is one of them, man. I love this movie. The Crow is brilliant. It absolutely is, man. But this figure, guys, I got to be honest with you, and I've said this before. I have basically most of the Sideshow horror figures, the newer ones at least. I don't have the Ash Williams because I'm getting the Asmus one, but this packaging and the style of figure is very reminiscent of those, and those are very nice figures. For those of you that don't have them, they're very nice. The packaging looks incredible. I got to be honest with you. It's nothing special, but those colors are just so beautiful, and the fact that they use the broken glass from the window that Eric was thrown out of is really, really cool. But I'm very pleased to see this unboxing because I hate to say it without having it in hand yet, but it looks like they delivered. And I was hoping that it would be similar to their horror line of figures and not like the Star Wars figures, because the Star Wars figures seem different. It seems like they're manufactured by someone else, at least a different team from that same company. I don't know, but this is definitely made by the same people that do the horror figures, because it has the same packaging, the same style of hands, same stand, all that stuff. But it looks really, really good, guys. And you could see here, let me kind of make this full screen for you. It looks great. It turned out awesome. I'm very pleased with the sculpt, and we'll get a close-up of the sculpt here soon. Of course, the jacket is all pleather, and the pants are pleather, unfortunately, so you're going to have to battle with that. But apart from that, I mean, I think it looks awesome. Raxa said The Crow and RoboCop, 2 films centered in Detroit. Yeah, I guess some of the best films are centered in Detroit, huh? Because those are some of my favorite films of all time. You guys know I love my RoboCop. That's why I'm hoping to see some more RoboCop after we got that first RoboCop figure.
I wonder if they'll ever do a Lois.
That would be cool, man. They'll fix you. They fix everything. And I have the battle damage RoboCop, so I would absolutely have him like laying down in the pile of rubble with the data spike, because obviously that's what he used in the end to take out our boy. But yeah, you can see, guys, this sculpt it's great. I think it looks really good. I'm very pleased. Now, could the separation on the hair be a little bit better? I would say so, but considering this is a sideshow figure, I don't know about you all in the chat or anybody on the panel if you want to comment. I think it looks great. And not only that, they got the shininess of the eyeballs right. I noticed on some of the older sideshow figures, they didn't quite get that. But we have like the nice glazing of the eyes, and the paint on the eyes looks really good. And I think it looks correct to the color of his eyes in the film. He's got Shelly's ring around his neck. Again, I mentioned I liked that scene a lot when he went to the pawn shop and got her ring back. But I kind of wanted to rotate around to the hair so you can see what I mean. It doesn't look bad whatsoever. I think it looks pretty decent. It's just, I would have liked to have seen a bit more separation in the hair, but that's just a nitpick.
I'm interested to see how, when finally the quarter scale statue for this comes out, which should be coming sometime.
Yeah, that's going to be beautiful. And the other thing is like the proportions. I think the proportions are really close to Brandon Lee. And I saw someone else say that they thought the Hot Toys was closer, and I don't agree. I think this is actually closer to Brandon Lee's proportions. And surprisingly enough, guys, I don't have the sound on, so I'm just going to tell you, when he gets to the posing segment of this video, this does have ratcheted joints in the upper body. So the arms are fully ratcheted at the shoulders and on the 90-degree bend on the elbow. So that's good to see from Sideshow, because I don't think any of the horror figures that I currently own, I do have the Freddy Krueger shipping. He just shipped out to me, actually. So maybe they updated that one with ratcheted joints. But this one does have ratcheted joints, which is really good to see. I think my biggest complaint with these Sideshow figures is just the paint job on the hands. They do the same thing on every single one. It's like a red hue towards the fingertips, and it fades into like a paler skin. And I noticed they've done that on all of the horror figures. This one doesn't have the weird veins as much in the hands like they did on the other ones, but it does have that same type of paint job. In the video too, he mentions that this area on the stomach area and the forearms is like a plastic coating. So that's not pleather. It's like a plastic coating on top of the cloth. So it's good to see less pleather. The less pleather, the better. But yes, these pants are pleather. He calls them leather-like, so that's their way of saying pleather. You can see too, the boots are sculpted. Always like to see sculpted boots, and they look really nice. You can see the eyelets going down and like how the tongue is flapped down. I like that because that allows you to tuck the boots into the pants into the boots a little bit better. I agree. It's very nicely defined. It looks good, man. Starkiller saying there's no way Sideshow made this. Yeah. So it's like, guys, we look at this and then we compare it to like the Clone Wars figures, and it's like, what happened? There's got to be someone else making it, you know? That's my only thought. It's got to be someone else working on these figures. Or again, maybe a different team does the Star Wars stuff and then another team, because also like the Dude figure, I feel like was done by the same company and or team, because that has the similar packaging and the same style of hands and stuff like that. So, yes, Oilers, I have seen that. And it's funny that you bring that up, because you know how many people I've seen who are fans of this movie, they're like, Brandon Lee would have been such a good Joker. And I agree, man. He would have been, I mean, obviously Heath Ledger is like a legend. Like when we think of the Joker, we're like, he was born to play that role. And when I look at Brandon Lee and I watch The Crow, I'm like, this guy could have done as good as him, or maybe even better. I mean, who knows? Unfortunately, we'll never get to see that, but because both of them have passed away. But yeah, it's very interesting to see that. Carlito, I believe it's 265. Let me pull up Sideshow real quick, because there's an exclusive version with a guitar and there's a version without the guitar. Let me see. But yeah, so 265 for the exclusive and 250 for the collectors. And the exclusive, the extra accessory you get is the guitar. Which me personally in my display, I want to have that guitar on his back. I'll pull up the listing after this. Yeah, the Michael Myers is very nice, Clone Collector. I agree with that. The Michael Myers, the the mask isn't completely accurate. I know a lot of people take like the Trick or Treat Studios sculpt and swap it over, but for me personally, I really like it. I don't feel the need to swap it out. We have a better shot of the head sculpt here. You could see it's looking really good, man. I'm very pleased because this is one of those figures I was very worried about it.
Meet the task juggler, the time saver.
Was that you? Who is that? Is that you, Lane, that just clicked a video?
I thought that was you guys.
That wasn't me.
That's not me either.
Was that you, Lane?
I think so.
Yeah. Lane just doesn't want to admit it. But yeah, you could see he didn't get the Mythos Obi-Wan treatment. He does have double jointed ratcheted limbs, so that's awesome. They're definitely starting off better with their bodies. Chris is still in here, guys. Collecting Madness has been in here in spirit. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it tonight. He had to stay later at work, but I think he said earlier it's moderator Chris in the chat. Collecting Madness, the moderator. So, but yeah, they look really good. That's what I was saying earlier. They did a really good job on the eyes. Sometimes they don't always nail like that glazed look in the eyes, and I think they did a good job with this one. And it's like I almost like this figure so much I might be tempted to grab a second one before they sell out because I like the trench coat look with the guitar on his back, and then this look where I can have him pointing the revolver or something, or maybe have his hand, because you'll see he does come with the hand with the bullet hole in it. So there's a lot of possibilities with this figure, and you could see with the pleather pants, there's no limitation whatsoever from what I could see. The posability just looks really good, and it looks like a better body from Hot Toys. Oh Lord, Safel's out. Leave Lane alone. You can see what I'm talking about here, guys, and it's not as bad with these, but you can see how it's like reddish towards the tip of his fingers, and it kind of fades into the skin tone, like the paler skin tone. This is the coolest hand, though, obviously, with the bullet hole in it, because that's just something different that doesn't come with any other figure. And obviously, he has those like leather wraps on his hands. I will say, you can see here, Sideshow is getting better. You can see Sideshow's getting better with the metal finish on their guns, because previously it looks kind of cheap. I mean, you could look at the General Grievous, for example, and the lightsabers. That silver chromish color that they used just looks cheap. And I think that's why I think it might be a different manufacturer for that figure and for the other Star Wars figures. The only disappointment, though, is this charging handle on the shotgun does cock back. But unlike all of the Hot Toys and Damn Toys, for example, their firearms too, the actual chamber does not open up when you cock back. So that's a bit of a detail that they missed on that I would have liked to have seen, because other companies do it. But of course, that's a nitpick. At least you have a cylinder that drops out on the revolver, though. The guitar, he does say in the video, these are real metal strings on the guitar, so that's cool. Of course, the strap is pleather, so we hate to see that. I feel like the crow could have been a bit better detailed. It does look a bit soft. But that's okay. It's like a secondary accessory anyway. As long as the figure itself is good, I'm happy with it. What confuses me is like, why are you putting the logo on the bottom of the stand? You know, like all of the horror figures, for example, in the Sideshow line, they have the name of the film engraved on the top. Why is it on the bottom? That's a bit confusing to me, but hey, I guess they had their reasons for making that decision. But you can see here, this is how I'm going to have him with the trench coat and the guitar. You can see he has the bullet hole hand. It just looks really good, man. I'm very, very pleased with this figure. I hope that it turns out this good when everybody starts getting their shipments in and there's no QC issues. But like I said, I would love to get two of these, because I would like to have this look and then the one they showed previously, because I think it looks really good. Do I think this character will be a one and done for this film, or is there any other character that sticks out to you? Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is going to be a one and done. Just because this is already a blessing figure. I mean, Hot Toys did do this figure in the past, obviously. But this is already kind of a blessing release, because we don't really see obscure films like this get figures. And I'm glad that Sideshow is doing this, especially like Sideshow. I'm very thankful that they're doing the horror stuff, because they're kind of carrying the horror figure market right now for the most part. Of course, there's really nice, super expensive custom figures, but the retail, easily acquirable stuff, I think they're kind of carrying the horror market. So I'm very glad to see that Sideshow is doing stuff like this.
Yeah, because you really only have Pennywise otherwise, and that's going to be in art. And then, of course, you have the Hot Toys one.
Right. Like all the newer hotness we'll see. But like for old films like this that don't get enough attention, I'm very pleased to see that Sideshow has done this.
Well, and Sideshow did a statue and a figure for this, where you
right, and they did the premium format as well. Yeah,
where you might have only expected one or the other necessarily every once in a while.
Yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, guys, I just kind of wanted to share. I know everybody's not a huge fan of obscure figures like that, but
now they give us Alex Corvus Crow, then we'll know they're starting to dig really deep into the into the well.
Yeah,
because everybody's going which Crow, who?
Yeah, we don't talk about that. But guys, kind of one more thing before we start to close out for the night. So InArt is trying to recruit for U.S. official distributors. Not only that, I don't know if Oilers is still here, but they're doing an event on October 15th in Las Vegas where they're going to be bringing a lot of these figures that they've been putting up for pre-order and maybe some prototypes, I'd assume, to show off to people here in the U.S. And if I had the money and the super high interest in InArt right now, I would definitely go check it out for you guys. But thankfully, our friend Oilers is going out, so he's going to be, I'm sure, getting plenty of footage of that stuff and kind of sharing his thoughts. Oilers, again, if you're here, or maybe if you'll catch us on the rewind if you're not still here. I'd love to have you on the stream that following Thursday to talk about that and kind of get your thoughts on everything, because I really do value your opinion when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, I'm very curious by this, guys. I feel like this is going to start to change things, because before it was like, oh, okay, so they're just mainly concerned about the Asian market right now because that's where they can get most of these licenses. But now they're like, okay, well, we want to move into the U.S. because we see a lot of potential in the U.S. market as well. So this could absolutely change things. It could kind of create even more competition for Hot Toys. And competition is definitely a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
It's just I'm curious who's going to pick this up. Like, are we going to see like Comic Concepts and CollectorZown and bigger brick and mortar type stores like that start picking this stuff up? Probably. I know CollectorZown Marcos already carries the Queen Studios product, so I'm sure he's going to take them up on this. But yeah, it's definitely exciting for collectors just because we're going to start seeing more options, and the fact that they're moving into the United States, it might make prices a bit cheaper. I know we have Spec Fiction that we buy from in the US, but the more options we get, the more chance that we'll get better prices on things. So this is definitely a good sign for sure. Clone Collector, I don't have a link for it. We absolutely can. Let me see if I could find. Do you happen to know the name of that figure?
Oh, Carlito, that sucks.
Oh, actually, sorry, go ahead.
Carlito said he just got 8 delay emails from Sideshow.
Wow, 8. All right, so we're gonna my boy
just
Clone.
Now.
Apparently, let me check my email, Carlita, or Carlita, you're scaring me. Queel and Blurg again. I just got one for Queel and Blurg like 2 weeks ago, man. Come on.
Yeah, but I've already posted that delay.
Yeah, but I got an email for it like 2 weeks ago. So why? It's crazy they're delaying it again, or well, not delaying it again, but sending another email out. I don't know, man. The thing is, too, we talked about it before. A lot of these delays, some of them aren't technically delayed. They're just delayed based on Sideshow's expectations. If we look at the Hot Toys website, some of these figures still are on time. Not all of them, but some of them are. But yeah, 8 in one shot, Carlito. That's a lot. But yeah, Clone Collector wanted to take a look at this Kingpin figure. Guys, I do think So is a contender in the market for sure. And my curiosity with them is like, when are they going to decide maybe we should start doing officially licensed stuff? At this point, maybe it's because it's just so easy for them to pump these out and they don't have to pay the licensing fee. But I would imagine any company wants to evolve and kind of gain the respect of collectors. And a lot of people only buy third-party stuff. So, officially licensed stuff. So I feel like that's their next step maybe in the near future as they start to get more and more funds from selling out these figures. But with that being said, guys, I think this figure looks really, really good. I really do. I think they did a good job. I especially like the bloody look and with the kind of like the swap out bloody portion to the suit. I think it looks really, really good. I think the likeness is mostly there. In terms of price, is it that great? $230 for a third-party figure that's not the best price. I understand he's a larger character. He has a larger body, but I'm not hugely sold on that price. But again, with that being said, I do think this is probably the best stab we've seen so far in terms of a 6-scale Kingpin. And I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. Now, do I think Hot Toys is going to do one? Yes. I mean, Kingpin is already definitely going to show up some more in the MCU moving forward. We saw him in Hawkeye, in the Hawkeye show. And I was really hoping for a figure from the Hawkeye show, but obviously we didn't get that. But I think it's safe to say we're going to get a Kingpin figure from Hot Toys in the future. It's just a matter of when. Yeah, Chris says the tailoring seems on point to him. It absolutely looks really good, man. I think the stature is very good too. I think it's accurate. Do I think Sideshow could become an in-art distributor? No. The reason I say that is because they have such a strong relationship with Hot Toys. I don't think they would want to muddy that relationship at all. In-art is becoming a bigger and bigger competitor for for Hot Toys as the days go on. So I don't think Sideshow would risk muddying the waters with their relationship with Hot Toys by doing that. So I don't see that happening personally. But they do carry, I believe Sideshow is starting to carry Queen Studios products, but I think that's different, because that's like their statues and their busts and things like that. So, yeah, they absolutely have been killing it. Dude, the painting would be awesome. That would be a sick background piece. Yeah, it absolutely looks great. I recently uploaded a giveaway video with Lane and I, and get yourself entered into that giveaway. Lane is giving away an Arkham series Harley Quinn hot toy to celebrate 250 subscribers. So get yourself into that celebration and give yourself a chance to win. The giveaway is running until the 19th of October. We'll be closing it at 11:59 before the clock strikes 12. So you have plenty of time to enter. But I wish you all the best of luck in winning that giveaway. Lane and I are really excited to see who wins it. That's really all I got for you guys tonight. Lane or Sean, do you have any final thoughts before we close out the stream tonight?
No, just I think we covered a lot of topic today. Obviously, we've got the giveaway.
Yeah.
We get admire your cable hair.
Guys, Lane's been bullying me, saying I have cable hair. He's just really jealous that I have cable if he doesn't. I think that's what it is. Oh, hey, Sean showing his
the nightmare rises. Now, Sean, if you're going to show up, you should have had your helmet on.
Oh, the helmet.
Porkins Jr.
Polo, thank you for being here.
No.
I absolutely thank you for being here, Polo. It's good to see you, and happy to provide the content for you. As I always say, guys, you could be anywhere on your Thursday night. There are many other streams, but you guys choose to be here, and we really do appreciate that. It really, really means a tremendous amount. Carlito, The Collector, Star Killer, Chris, OG, Insane One, Clone Collector, everybody, like even names I didn't mention. I know I see you guys here every week, and I really, really do appreciate you. The fact that I'm sitting at almost 330 subscribers is mind-boggling to me because we just hit 250 like a week and a half ago. So once again, and thank you so much, guys, for being here. There's plenty of content to come. I got a lot of videos planned, so stay tuned for those. I got a lot of stuff coming in within the next few weeks, especially next month. I'm going to be getting a lot of stuff. So, but again, Lane or Sean, any final thoughts for the chat here?
I'll let Lane go first.
Pretty much just looking forward for people engaging with the giveaway, and we'll have to keep our eyes out over the next couple of weeks, Hot Toys wise, what we're going to have coming actually, to us, and what might they be showing us here in the next 12 to 14 days.
Yeah.
Take
care,
everybody,
Eddie.
for being here.
Thank you for sharing your love of the Crow with me, Eddie. I appreciate you, man. Sean, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. This is typically the time of year anyways that we get delays. I am concerned with the amount of stuff that's getting pushed back, along with several other things going on in the world. I am frustrated, but I'm not angry over it, but I am frustrated. I don't like the idea of putting money down and having it push out.
No, I agree.
But
Thank you, Peyton.
Another side too that I look at is when I was really big at collecting the Sideshow Clone Wars stuff, that for a while they had the group effort with Hot Toys working on it, and Hot Toys was strong on the Marvel license. At the same time, it seemed like the stuff pushed out a lot faster, and I was happy with the quality of it. As I received it, obviously later on, those bodies went downhill. But the shift and change and everything, technology from 7 years ago to now is a lot different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just kind of wondering, why are we at least not getting everything that doesn't have a face sculpt?
Yeah.
Like the Blurg shouldn't be delayed.
Yeah, like the
that's
OG
really
Mando
weird.
and the Blurg. That's surprising that hasn't come out yet, because they've already done that figure,
I mean, Quill, it's half the body.
Little micro dude, yeah.
It's like an Ewok body that, they should be proud. Like, oh yeah, we could reuse this body now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely puzzling. And as we've said many times, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but it's like, and guys, Sean's a good person to listen to when it comes to the numbers, because he does follow it very closely, and he gives us updates on Facebook. If you're in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group or 6 Scale Survival Guide, you've seen Sean posting in there. So Sean knows what he's talking about when it comes to these delays, because he's constantly following it. So we're in a very weird spot right now. I mean, you guys saw there's people on the stream saying they got 8 delay emails at one time. Carlito was saying, it's like, that definitely is concerning. It's very concerning, because you're like, some of these figures that are getting delayed, some of these people have paid off in full. So you're like, you guys have my money. I want my figure,
Yeah. Hey guys, real quick, if anybody was considering getting the Mark 46, 1.25 or whatever you want to call it, there is one up on Sideshow Seconds for $386 right now.
Wow, there you go, guys.
I wonder what's wrong with it.
Well,
probably the box. That's usually what it is. Starkiller says he doesn't mind the delays. It gives him time to buy multiples of figures I want, especially more Dark Troopers. And yeah, there is a silver lining there. I would agree with that. I've said that before myself. We don't talk about Loki, man, bro. Loki is a mystery in its own. I truly, hey, the little meme that we've kind of come up with in the Hot Toys community about him getting lost at sea, I'm like, maybe that did happen, because
I'm wondering how
knows,
bad
man?
I'm wondering how bad shipping must be going from like UPS right now, because Sideshow has almost 4 pages of damaged stuff they're trying to sell for less right now.
I know there's a lot of stuff sitting on there. Some of that second stuff, even like when the Chrome Clone Troopers popped up, I'm like, ooh, that sat for quite a while. But yeah, guys, so I guess a final thought for me would be to keep an eye out on the Last Chance page. Obviously, the Kate Bishop and the KX Enforcer, those are kind of on watch right now. Pay attention. If you want them, pre-order them sooner than later. As we said earlier, you can always cancel the pre-order and possibly convince Sideshow to move it to another figure. So if you're leaning more towards the I need this side of things, I would definitely consider dropping the pre-order if you can financially do so right now. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you once again so much for being here, everybody. If you're catching it on the replay, enjoy yourself. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on everything that we talked about this stream. There was a lot that we talked about, and I feel like we squeezed it into that too. We're trying to keep it within 2 hours because I don't want to bore you all. I know that's a long time to sit. So thank you so much for being here. 20 people as we're closing out of the stream is amazing. So, but have a great night, everybody. We will see you next week. Hopefully I'll have something up on the channel before then. Not sure. It depends on when my stuff arrives. But
Clone Collector. That's in the abyss, baby.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He is
big question
in the abyss.
Big question. Where is Loki?
He's been delayed 4 times.
Right. So he's in delay hell, basically. Arriving late. Ahsoka Tano with Grogu just got another email. Nice.
I got 4 emails.
Yeah, mine just keeps slowly popping
Email
through.
time.
Yeah, it's the year of the emails and the delay emails and the display bases.
And the moving up emails, and we're moving on up to
at this point, the only thing I have a possibility of getting on time is Luke from The Mandalorian.
Hey, Yeah, hey, I'll get the Crow on time. At least Sideshow is able to deliver their stuff early because they have a much smaller volume.
As you go like this, as you pick it up the first time and it goes, and you're like,
that's not gonna happen with him. But, all right,
that you hope.
Yeah, that I hope. I hope not. But take care, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday. Enjoy your night. Those who are watching football, best of luck to all your teams, and take care.
Have a good night, OG fan.
Make a